But why does it sound like that? I've never experienced this in a game ever.
Yeah.
Like, so the whole premise of this game, from my understanding of the trailer, was this. Was this Craven guy
Yeah.
loves the hunt. And he wants people, he wants a challenge. So he's going to go to New York City and go hunt all those people that he just showed up, which is like Spider-Man and the Black Cat and all of the, like the super people. So that's like the whole premise of this show.
Which is just like the first Incredibles and Syndrome. Yes.
Well, no, because he doesn't want to. He doesn't want to rid.
Yeah, he does.
No, it's not the same.
He
I understand the parallels, but
he didn't go hunt them. He invited them to test his machine and get rid of supers.
That's not what he wants to do. He's doing it for the love of the hunt. Syndrome didn't do it because he loved hunting people. He did it because he wanted everyone to be super so that no one would be different. But yes, I can see the parallels though.
Yeah. Okay.
I can.
Yap is busted. Just like this game. Peter, you seeing this?
Their voices are busted at least. Because everything else sounds fine, doesn't it?
Just bust the move. Yeah.
And is it something with... Is it something to do with the connection?
Yeah, same here. Hey, Genki? I know. The whole city's telecom network is down.
Gosh, it's gonna bother me so much.
They're all cute, but... Wait. I'm gonna try to work around. Work fast.
Yeah, because it sounds like it's slow.
Yeah.
But they're not talking slow.
Right.
Right before the app went down, I saw a request for
Like, it sounds like the sound is weird, but the sound effects didn't seem weird. Okay, hold on. Hold on, everybody. We're gonna try and fix this.
So objective. Guess I could read my story while we're doing this.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please do that.
Alright. Alright.
I'm gonna see if shutting it down and then restarting it fixes anything.
Okay. So, if you remember last time, I did write a bit. Kind of like a star where I left off.
You know what? That does sound like. Hopefully the stream is okay, but it sounds like it's.
There we go. Yeah. The last time we caught back up with him from 10 years ago, and now he's reminiscing. And we're getting the story of what happened on that fateful night where we left off 10 years ago. And so, if we remember, he panicked when he saw the blood. The constable saw the blood all over his room. And so we set the stage back on a stormy night 10 years ago. He's trying to get away. He threw hot wax into the constable's face. There is blood all over him. And he runs out the door. He was able to find his footing, even though he's covered in this red guilt. He was talking about how fast he was running faster than he ever thought that he could run before. And he said, if I wasn't in such a frenzied state, the feeling would have been exhilarating. As it was, I was in a panic. I wasn't even sure where I was going. In my mad dash, I began to hear the commotion of police whistles, shouting, foot-stomping, running, rushing, horseshoes clipping, clopping, echoing through the streets. I remember sharply turning down a darker and more narrow alleyway than I've ever been before. I felt safe-ish, enough to catch my breath and rest. I breathed in deeply, closed my eyes, and slumped against the wall. I thought I had done this voluntarily. However, I later realized that was not the case, as my back ended up with multiple scratches and bruises. When I came to, my heart seemed to leap out of my chest and throat.
I saw a request for help at Liberty and Broadway.
A frantic mania caused me to spring from my seated position. In the periphery of my right eye, I saw a shadowy figure. I turned to face who or what it was. Its eyes seemed beady and red. It appeared to float off the ground. And worst of all, it was covered in the same horrific substance. Now...
Headed there now.
Sorry, everyone, for trying to figure all that out. The bit rate, but too.
Oh, that's good.
So
Yeah,
maybe
it
I
was red. Alright, back in the alleyway. He came to. Lump in his throat. He saw to the right a shadowy figure. Its eyes seemed beady and red. It appeared to float off the ground, and worst of all, was covered in the same horrific substance, now pooling and filling my office, pockets, and mine. This caused me to stumble back into the street and into another constable. He was taken aback as I was, and I was promptly and abruptly able to spin around and make an ill-conceived dash for it, or away from him. Then, wham! My face met the nightstick of another watchman, and I could not have foreseen. I'm sure my body hit hard with a thud, and in some ways, I too was hoping, cracked my head skull. In my comatose state, I had dreams and visions, mostly colored in red. I saw the strange, dark figure once again.
Spiderman, got a minute?
Over and over again. No clarity came, no alleviation of guilt, just fear, remorse, dread. When I woke, I found myself collapsed and changed to a hospital bed. I later learned I was in the local sanatorium. As whilst I was sleeping, I ranted and raved about blood-soaked hands, clothes, and dark, mysterious figures, and a repeated quote from Edgar Allan Poe's poem, "The Raven, Nevermore." I should have stayed there. Perhaps I would have gone more insane, but better in a sanatorium than in a prison. I learned from a court-appointed attorney that the trial proceeded without me present. Unsure of my status amongst the living, a trial convened, witnesses produced, and largely circumstantial evidence convicted me. For with all such
flying is
confusion,
Sorry.
there is no body found. No body found. The hot wax assault and my lunatic ravings, along with all the blood, was enough to convince a jury of my peers, so to speak, to put me away for at least 10 years. I didn't have the money, resources, connections, friends, or care to fight for appeals. And perhaps I felt I was guilty. I couldn't and didn't remember what I had done that evening before leaving my office, so I punished myself. And now, with slightly more clarity and sobriety, I feel compelled to learn the truth. Am I innocent of any crime? Or am I? And is my guilt greater than the debt paid? Either way, two words can give me an eerie sense of justification. Double jeopardy.
Got him.
Until next time,
Until next time, folks.
This looks like a drone.
enjoy.
We don't spy on people, Genki.
Oh, no. It's all opt-in. Just New
It'd be
Yorkers
fun to
send
see where it's
messages to the
going.
app
I only have
rather
slight
than
ideas of what
drones,
I'm doing
which
still.
I call focused relay
Good.
neighborhood data spots.
I like that we have this
RND.
opportunity for you to
Did I
express
just
yourself
make a
that way.
friend?
You did.
Yeah,
Look,
well,
I have a spider drone.
I would like to take more time, but I'm just like,
How do we get this thing
like
airborne?
stuffing it in where I can. But maybe that actually helpful, you know. If I sat there and aggravated over it, maybe I wouldn't get as far as I did today.
That's hard, man. Like, when I... Oh. Ooh. Okay. All right. We're flying. Okay. All right.
Why are we flying up?
All right.
the sky?
All right. I don't know. But we're doing it for some reason.
Local network
So were you the drone?
Let me notify the
Yeah.
operators.
I'm guessing that's how they do, like, the opening of the map. So most games, like,
Start coming
you
in
reach a
handy.
tower, or you reach, like, in Batman, it was a system that you imprinted, that you, like, touched and, you know, hacked. I'm guessing that's what this is supposed to be. It's like a little mini game where it's like, hey, fly through the rings. And
Okay.
now you have more of the map. I'm guessing. I don't know. I don't know. I'm now level 2.
I totally just went blank. I got nothing.
It's okay.
Uh,
Open skill tree.
Before that?
Okay. You have leveled up and earned a skill point. You can spend skill points. Yep. Very common. Press X to continue. This is the shared skill tree, containing skills that apply to both heroes. Okay. And then there's probably ones that are just each hero. Yep. Did it. Spider Whiplash. An attack that lifts multiple enemies into aerial combat is selected. Spend your skill point to purchase the skill. But what if I don't want it? It requires Spider Whip. Press L and X to lift enemies in the air. Works on brute enemies. Okay. Brute enemies are usually enemies that are big, strong, and can block.
There.
Ooh.
Crime report
How
just
do you
came in.
find all the time in a day to get all the stuff that you want to done?
Just in general,
Yeah.
you don't.
Yeah.
You don't.
Sleep less? I don't know if I could do that.
Well, and that's the thing is like that. Yes, like that is what people do, right? They sleep less, and it's like that's not smart. That's not the better thing to do. That's what people do.
Do you have a goal of how much sleep you try to get in a night?
Yeah. I mean, I always try to get to bed at least by 11 so that I can get 7 hours of sleep. And Sundays I pull good airtime.
Stealing weapons? Not on my watch.
Okay. Oh, you have a gun.
Whose idea was it to have a gun club in the
Oh
city?
my gosh. I am not understanding. You guys are dead. What's up, Tyler? He watched me play this on the first one on the PS4. And the question always is like, how do like Spider-Man and Batman not like kill the people that they come in contact with in the game specifically? Because like movies, you can like obviously like movie magic, but in these games, it's like, how does that like transpire? And it's like, it's pretty funny because like what Spider-Man does if he like knocks them off a building, he like webs them to the building, and like he does it with every single one. So it's like they built that in so you didn't feel like you were murdering people. So that's good.
That is good. Although I gotta say, I don't.
But if Spider-Man punched you, like he would punch his fist through your face. Like, and I know he like holds back, but man, you better be really good at holding back, or like be so precise.
I was not a
Tech
fan of that
parts as well.
dialogue. No. Like,
That's
this idea of the gun club. We should make compliment
man, you're
club.
gonna hate that. You're gonna hate
Like,
this.
I get the cheesiness of it, but it feels like there is something more to that. It's just like,
I think you're reading into it. I think that's just Spider-Man being Spider-Man.
maybe so.
It had nothing. I don't think it has anything to do with gun rights. It literally is just like, because he wasn't saying good or bad about having a gun club. He's just saying, why would we have a gun club in right now?
Yeah, but this has nothing to do with the gun club. It's just
Well, yeah,
guys
they
with
have.
guns.
Yeah, they have guns. That's why he's Spider-Man. He's snarky and dumb. He's a dumb kid.
Hey guys, my app's still down. I know. Trying to innovate here. Give me a minute. I'll call you back.
But you are going to be sorely disappointed then with all the dialogue, because video games have struggled with that, and even though this is probably going, I would imagine it's probably going to be a good game overall.
Yeah.
Their other games have been, but there's going to be things like that that's like, it's not a movie, so it's like if you're looking for very good like scripts that are always bangers, you're going to be sorely disappointed, because that's not what it is.
But they put so much money into it. Why don't they just?
Well, they put money into everything, sure, but not everything's a hit. And you also,
I mean, I do that with movies in general.
right. Well, and you, this is just like your MO. Like you love to be Mr. Pessimistic and Mr. You're hypercritical of this kind of stuff. And that's fine. Be hypercritical. You should be hypercritical. You probably should be a critic. But I'm just trying to explain to you why.
Okay. The
they're not even necessarily wrong. It's
That's
just
fine.
I'm explaining you that video game world at its finest.
Fancy. We just need
I
to see
mean, I
citizen
probably shouldn't be
reports.
paying too much to the dialogue anyway, because then that would be boring and I wouldn't need to be here.
Let's check in with mine.
Right.
Because
Right.
then you
Our
just-
dialogue is really what brings people in.
And I mean, I could honestly say a lot of times our dialogue sucks because I bring,
Oh, boo! It
I
does
bring
not
nothing
suck.
to the table.
It's just different. And here's the other side of Cam's coin, where then he totally denigrates everything he does as if he's the only problem.
Well, I mean, as
Cool. So I'm about to jump. Sweet. That was fun.
is that like
Kinetic energy, right?
Super Mario Brothers 2, where if you hold down, you jump higher, like Luigi?
That's what it looks like.
Super high.
That is exactly what it looks like.
But his legs didn't flail. Or Princess
How?
Peach.
Yeah. How dare he not flail his legs? That silly butt. I will say though. So do you see like all the dust on his uniform, on his
Yeah.
costume, whatever? Like that's a pretty that shows the detail that the PS5 is like capable of. They call
Yeah.
it ray tracing. It's like a big thing for like lighting effects. And I
Yeah.
imagine that really the dust is a lighting effect if you're thinking it of like a computer process.
Yeah.
And so it's like it's impressive like what computer engineers were able to do when making these kinds of systems.
Yeah.
You know, and it's crazy. It's amazing
mean,
that like
it
all
is.
of this is a new frame. Every motion is a new frame, and it makes it so well that we don't even notice that anything happened. That's incredible.
It really is.
How does that? How does it do that? Like it's so fast.
And it's a bit scary as you look at this because I mean, you know, you're just I feel like just a little bit away until you really get inundated into virtual reality. Right?
Oh yeah, like and the thing is, they're working on it. Like
yeah.
they are in it to get it done.
And if you listen to enough devotionals and talks from like Bednar and stuff throughout the years, and I think
Yes.
even
Friendly
I
relay
don't know if it's
network
Raz
drone.
I don't know. Anyway, they kind of quote his talk things as they really are, where he talks about the manipulation of AI and how we need to stay away
You're a
from it
genius, Genki.
because it is going to encapsulate us. If in some ways it has already, maybe not the VR part, but you know, they talked about Second Life and how this guy was married and he ended up getting married to this person
Yeah.
online. You know, they had a dog, they had kids, and then he eventually divorced and tried to marry this girl in real life. All over, you know.
Well, and that's why I always stayed away from like World of Warcraft, because like
Yeah.
I was hearing stories from like, remember a missionary that I was the district leader over in my mission.
I see it.
He had a friend whose mom spent thousands and thousands of dollars on World of Warcraft, and like she wasn't a gamer. Like she found that whoa, okay. I was like, how am I gonna slow down? Thank you, cutscene, for saving me. But yeah, and then she eventually, like, I believe they got divorced, and like, because she couldn't handle the habit, and it was more important for her to it was more important for her to do this game than it was to maintain the relationships that she used to have.
I don't know. Tried to help rescue people.
And so yes, the dialogue is going to be terrible. See?
So
But
yeah,
that's
anyway.
what's fun. But so it's like my brother-in-law, like all he wants to do is, you know, he plays video games with his friends and that's it. And, you know, he doesn't perfect dodge. When your spider sense turns red, to dodge an automatic shoot a web at your attacker. Yeah, that's what I've been trying to do this whole time.
Spider-Man isn't going to get you.
I've just been really late on it, I guess.
Promise. Gotta run.
Well, and I like the Batman combat
cool.
better because his,
Yeah.
like, he dodges, Batman counters.
Okay.
So, like, the counter I feel like feels better. Because it's still, like, a part of the fight, and it, like,
Yeah.
flows really well, like a dance. The Spider-Man combat, I don't know if I like it as much. Because I don't feel like it blows as easy.
Let's see.
But I might
Totally-
just not. I haven't played Spider-Man in so long. I might
And-
just not be used to it.
One of those moves, it looks like you're about to pants him.
Sure.
Hey, how fat is that guy that he can actually disturb the pressed, cobbled streets?
Well, he's not
stone?
even. He's not even just fat. He's just muscle.
Well, yeah,
He's
I mean,
huge.
heavy, but I mean that
Parry just before a melee attack to stagger the enemy. An early parry will be less effective. Okay, so how do I parry? L1 parry. Okay.
I could be in physics class right now, memorizing abstract equations for hypothetical situations.
So,
Hit him hard!
I think I like this kind of physics better.
no.
what was? Okay, so it wants me to parry these guys, and that's how then I get. But yeah, like I talked to my brother-in-law, and he wants to be a part of like those worlds where like he just is going to be in the virtual world and he's going to have no contact with anyone else. And it's like, the thing is it's everyone's fault and everyone's problem, and that's, I feel like that's what, like, the way society is creating men and women of this nature.
Yeah.
And it's literally going to be everyone's problem.
Yeah. I mean, like in some ways, I agree it'd be really hard. Like if you could,
New request just came in.
like I guess, feel it, wouldn't you want to live in kind of the fantasy, sci-fi, or world that
Sure.
you created, or period piece?
Work on the app.
Like that would
Right.
actually be pretty amazing, actually. Like if I could go back kind of in time in a certain sense, it wouldn't necessarily be a time machine, but imagine, you know, being able to live
Well,
that
and
way.
that's why it's going to be so enticing, man. Just
Yeah.
like exactly what you said, because you were here like originally like, well, this is going to be evil and bad, and then you're like, but wait, that sounds like really cool. And the thing is like, it's going to be, yeah, it is cool, because like VR in itself is not evil, but if we then get all hooked up to like machines
Yeah.
and then lose our humanity, that is evil.
Because I mean, yeah, like if you could be sustained,
Right.
right?
Right.
With that, I mean, what it, you know, you have like feeding tubes, but you wouldn't, your body wouldn't know, but your mind would be in a world where you're eating chicken or whatever food that you want, and you're not necessarily getting fat or anything.
I'll check
Yeah,
it
Well,
out.
and that
it'd
you're
be kinda like-
everything to everyone, and like you're the hero of your story,
Yeah.
and like,
You,
of
you have
course
to,
that's enticing.
it's kind of like, it's not necessarily like the Matrix, because this is more like a choice. You'd have to watch the
Yeah.
movie 13th Floor, which I suggest everybody watch, because it came out around the same time, and it must have been a competition, because I was on my mission and stuff, but it seems like people had similar concepts, right? But kind of a different vein. Or like
Right.
Surrogates, or a host of other ones, right? Because, yeah, you wouldn't want to kind of like live in that world. I mean, they have Minority Report kind of shows that, and it'd be very hard not to.
Well, and the
Enjoy
good
that
thing
part.
that we were talking about, like Civil War, right? Where the idea was like, even though it's maybe closer to home or closer to reality, of like, how much should the government have control over entity, and why? Because I can understand why the government would maybe be like, yeah, we can't have super people running around like destroying stuff,
Yeah.
you know. And that was Tony's like whole problem, was that it's, I don't know that he wanted to give up his autonomy, because in the Superman or in the Iron Man 2 he literally says no.
Yeah.
Like he goes to the congressional like hearing, is like, you can't have Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like,
Iron
but the
Man
thing
is
was
great.
is like all these people died, and the premise of Civil War, like the first interaction that you have that sets up the whole movie, was when he talks to the mom of the dead soldier,
Okay,
and it was like she lost her son, and so she's grieving, and I don't know that it's his fault, but it's like they did drop a city on, you know,
Talking crystal.
Yeah.
on people, and they died. And so he might, maybe at that time, he was like, well, maybe I've had enough of this supreme power that I really haven't earned. Like, why does, you know, earned or not earned, maybe that's not the right word, because like he earned his suit, obviously,
Yeah.
but like the power to choose who lives and dies because you are powerful. Not to mention that it was his fault that Ultron even existed, and he made a huge mistake, and it was his mistake. And had Tony not made Ultron, then that soldier wouldn't be dead. Now, that's kind of a cosmic, what's the word? It's like,
Yeah, he's
maybe
within the
cosmic isn't the right word, but it was like,
for you.
it wasn't truly his fault. Like, it was an evil thing doing this.
You're not done with that yet?
It's like,
You know, since I already
how do I
got
explain
into
it?
PSU,
Like, if
can
I,
help you.
my
Nah.
parents one time, they got mad at me because I had milk, right? In our family room, and they didn't want me to accidentally spill it on the carpet.
Yeah.
So I disobeyed their, you know, their rules, and it led to me, I had my, there was a foreign exchange student that lived with us, and he like pretended to hit me.
Whoa.
So then I spilled the milk, and it was like, my parents were like, well, if you hadn't have even have had the milk, then it wouldn't have spilled. And it's like, well, he's the one who made me spill it because he pretended like he was gonna hit me. And so it's like, okay, they're not, my parents weren't necessarily wrong in the idea that, like, if I don't have the milk at all, then I don't spill it. But was it my, like, did I do the bad thing that made it spill? No.
So the problem here is that
So I think Tony wrestled with that.
you can't let your inability to predict every outcome in the future
Right.
from your actions dictate not doing those actions. Because if that were
Right,
the case,
right.
then nobody should do anything. Right. That's like the butterfly effect. It's just like, I'm doing good things, I intend to do good things, but people still get hurt
Right.
because I'm intending to do
Well, and that then goes to the whole thing with, gosh, I don't know how. Okay, that's how I go. Shot in the head.
Wow.
Dead.
Wow.
I am dead.
Up through the
That was
head,
the whole
and
thing
Spider-Man's dead.
of
You
Harvey
need to
Dent
die.
in the Dark Knight, was that you either die a hero or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. And the thing is like, you're not a villain because you do evil things. You're a villain because of perception of everyone around you. So like, you're the they're the villains because people blame them for things that they feel like they should have controlled or could have controlled or whatever, right? Fair or not fair, but the public perception of, eventually. And then the third one finishes the thought with Gordon, where they were supposed to believe in liberty, but they used the law that was anti-American value to put away all these criminals. And it was based on a hoax, which was that Harvey Dent was a good guy. So they had to lie to do the law that then broke American values, and on and on and on it goes. And so then when you look at like Tony Stark, his body is fine.
Messed up.
When you look at Tony Stark, it's like, I think he just became upset about all the things that were happening. And I think he just was like, I don't want this anymore. Like Spider-Man takes, it's like, great power comes with great responsibility. I think in that moment was literally
Let's get you to the hospital.
like Iron Man saying, I have this great power and I cannot handle this responsibility. That's what it seems like to me. And whereas like Captain America was like, I don't know that he even disagreed with Tony, but it was like, he knew, he grew up in the Nazi era. Like, all he saw was, and he became disillusioned in other movies about like what the government was doing. He did think America was the good guy, and then he learned all about SHIELD and learned what they were doing, and then that's what then led him to run and to not allow them to tell him what to do. And so it's so funny that we didn't even mean to like bring this up, but when you actually start talking about it in honest, like in the best terms that you know how, in honest terms, you learn that like it really is deep. Like if you're really cross-examining the whole thing, like it's a superhero movie that really is talking about real issues that we now face. you know, issues of like, what should we have done during pandemics? What should we do during, you know, school lockdowns? What should we do during on and on and on and on? Do we trust putting our lives in the hands of people that we don't know?
Oh no.
Yeah.
And like, yeah,
Breaking up.